Imagine a world where every ping on your phone promises instant joy, where one click delivers food, fame, or fleeting romance, where happiness is marketed as a same-day delivery service, yet the greatest minds in history, the titans of industry, the artists who reshaped culture, the athletes who broke impossible records, all share one silent superpower that this noisy world tries to erase: the ability to wait, to say no to the candy now, so they can feast on the banquet later. What happens when you master delayed gratification in a society addicted to instant highs? Meet Alex, 24 years old, scrolling endlessly at 2 a.m., drowning in notifications, likes, and food delivery dopamine hits. Talented illustrator, endless sketchbooks filled with half-finished dreams, because every time inspiration strikes, another reel steals his focus. Another sale on sneakers whispers, "You deserve this now." Another dating app match promises connection without commitment. Alex's life is a fireworks show, brilliant explosions every 5 minutes followed by total darkness. He earns just enough freelancing to survive, lives in a cramped apartment stacked with unopened gadget boxes. His parents worry, his friends party, and deep inside he feels the quiet terror that he is becoming a ghost in his own story, chasing shadows of pleasure while his real destiny slips away. One rainy Thursday, everything changes when Alex stumbles across an old documentary about Michelangelo, 4 years lying on his back painting the Sistine Chapel, 4 years of neck pain, solitude, ridicule, delaying every comfort because he believed the ceiling was worth it. Something cracks open inside Alex, a question burns. What if my greatest work is waiting on the other side of my smallest temptations? The next morning, Alex does something insane by modern standards. He deletes every social media app, turns his smartphone into a dumb phone, sets one rule: no new sketches posted online until an entire children's book is complete. No new sneakers until the book earns its first royalty. No dates until the manuscript is in the mailbox. Friends laugh. You'll crawl back in a week. Delivery apps send "we miss you" coupons. The silence feels like withdrawal, nights stretch like deserts. But Alex keeps a tiny notebook where he writes one sentence every day. I am trading minutes of distraction for years of meaning. Weeks bleed into months. The apartment grows quieter, the sketchbooks grow thicker. Characters leap off the page, a brave little fox who learns to wait for the perfect moon to guide her home. And for the first time, Alex tastes the strange exhilaration of momentum, the intoxicating high of watching a world build itself stroke by patient stroke. 8 months later, on a Tuesday that feels like any other, Alex seals the envelope, walks to the post office, mails the manuscript to 30 publishers. No instant feedback, no likes, no validation, just the terrifying freedom of having done the work. 3 weeks of silence follow, then an email. We would like to offer you a 3-book deal. The advance is modest, but when the first printed copy arrives, Alex holds it like a newborn, tears blurring the cover because every page is proof that delaying the itch led to scratching eternity. Fast forward 2 years, Alex's Fox series sits on bestseller shelves, translated into 12 languages. Children clutch plush toys of the moon-waiting fox. Schools invite him to speak. His apartment is now a sunlit studio filled with unfinished canvases because now the problem is choosing which dream to chase next. He still owns only one pair of sneakers, worn soft from miles walked while thinking, and when old friends ask how he did it, he smiles and says, I just learned to fall in love with the space between desire and fulfillment. Here's the turning point, the moment every achiever recognizes: delayed gratification is not self-denial. It is self-respect on steroids. It is the quiet rebellion against a culture that profits from your impatience. Science backs this up. The famous Stanford Marshmallow Experiment showed children who waited for 2 treats instead of eating one immediately ended up with higher SAT scores, better health, greater wealth. Decades later, but statistics feel cold until you live them. Alex discovered that every time he closed Netflix to draw one more page, his brain rewired, prefrontal cortex strengthening like a muscle, dopamine receptors recalibrating to reward persistence instead of pings. The high of finishing became bigger than any like storm. The secret no one advertises is that instant gratification is a sugar rush, and delayed gratification is a gourmet meal. You feel hungry at first, then suddenly you're nourished for life. Now the moral, the takeaway you can carry into battle tomorrow. First, identify your marshmallows, the tiny temptations that rob your masterpiece, social media, impulse buys, gossip, doom scrolling. Write them down tonight. Second, replace, don't remove. Every time you crave the quick hit, schedule a micro delay. Tell yourself, I'll check that after I finish this paragraph. Watch how 5 minutes becomes 50, becomes 500. Third, ritualize the wait. Michelangelo had scaffolding, Alex had his daily sentence. Create a talisman, a locked phone drawer, a savings account labeled Future Me is a Legend, something that turns waiting into worship. Fourth, celebrate the delay. Every night, write one victory. Today I waited, and the world did not end. In fact, it expanded. Fifth, surround yourself with delay artists. Read biographies of J.K. Rowling writing Harry Potter on napkins in cafes while her baby slept. Hamilton writing like he was running out of time yet still waiting years for the stage. Join communities where people brag about compound interest instead of crypto pumps. Sixth, scale the delay muscle. Start with 5 minutes of deep work, then 25 Pomodoro, then flow states that swallow afternoons. Watch how time bends when you stop leaking it. Seventh, forgive the relapse. Alex caved twice, binged an entire season, hated himself, then wrote his best chapter the next day because shame is a lousy teacher, but compassion is rocket fuel. Eighth, teach someone. Nothing locks a habit like giving it away. Mentor a teenager, post your progress anonymously. Become living proof that the long game is the only game that pays compound miracles. Ninth, zoom out. Your life is not a sprint to retirement. It's a cathedral you build one delayed stone at a time. Every sacrifice today is a gargoyle, scaring away mediocrity. 10th, fall in love with your future self. Picture them debt-free, healthy, proud, holding your published book, your degree, your child's hand at graduation. Now ask, what tiny no today makes that future yes inevitable? In a world screaming, happy now, choose the ancient path of every legend who ever lived. Plant seeds you may not sit under. Write sentences no one may read for years. Lift weights no one claps for. Study when everyone parties. Save when everyone spends. Because the universe keeps a perfect ledger. Every delayed gratification is a deposit in the bank of immortality. And one day, when the compound interest of your courage finally matures, you will wake up to a life so rich, so deep, so undeniably yours that instant pleasure will feel like the childish toy it always was. So starting tonight, close this video, silence the apps, pick one dream worth bleeding for, and whisper to the temptation, not yet. Because the greatest plot twist of your life is waiting on the other side of that glorious, terrifying, magnificent wait.